Welcome to your quick time entry screen overview. The time entry screen in TPS is a vital part of the system, so it's important that you learn to use it correctly. Once you've mastered this simple tool, you'll find that entering time yourself and managing the time entry process for your employees is a breeze. Here on the time entry screen, you can see that I've already entered some time. Here you'll have two options for how you like to view this screen and keep track of your time. You can do it in the time entry grid, what you're seeing right now, which looks a lot like an Excel spreadsheet, or you can use the calendar by clicking on this button here. If you decide to go with the calendar, you can see it starts out in the month view where you're seeing this month you're currently in, but you can change that to the week or day views by clicking here where it says month, clicking down where it says week, or to the day view where it just drops down to today only. And whether you're in the month, week, or day view, you can use these arrows here to switch through to different month, weeks, or days. I like the grid view, so I'm going to go ahead and click back on the grid. Next to the calendar, we also have our monthly totals tab. It's just a quick way for you to see all your monthly totals, and there's a video right here that explains that tab. You'll notice that up top now is where you find your timer option. So if you like to have a running timer going to keep track of time that you spend working for a client or in a meeting or whatever you have going on, this is where you'll find it. And there will be a timer video up here that explains how to use that. Let's go ahead and move from left to right now. This button over here puts you in a split screen mode. As you can see, there's a calendar and information over here pinned to the left for you now, where you can use that calendar to move through different days to enter or check time that you've entered on a previous day or move forward in time if you need to. But you can do that right here in this calendar. Down here you have bank hours. Bank hours is for those firms that allow employees to carry forward hours in excess of standard time. Bank hours are entered manually by each employee each day. They're not calculated by the system. And if you do enter bank hours, you can click the save button right here. Then down here, you just have a summary of your year-to-date chargeable hours, non-chargeable hours, and chargeable amounts. Same with your month-to-date and week-to-date. If I click this button here, it brings me back to my full screen mode. And you can see that I still have that option to change the date by clicking in here. And in either calendar, I can move through the months with this button here. If I want to go back to the month start, I click that button there. It brought me to July 1st, or I can go to month end, brings me to July 31st. I want to stay in today. And just like in that split screen view, if I want to add bank hours, I can do that right in here. Over here, we have the options to create a new time entry by clicking there. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. But you can see there's a video in here that shows you how to actually do a new time entry with this button. Then we have our actions drop-down menu, which allows you to copy time, set WIP status, set time status, change employee, change date, recalculate the amount, send email, delete time entry, and attach to workflow, each with its own instructional video. Next we have our filter. This helps you filter the information on the screen in case you have a lot of time entries to search through, and maybe you just want to see the time entries from last week or the WIPed time for this month, or of course you can see the time and WIP together. You also have the ability, if you have this permission right enabled, like maybe you're a manager and want to see the time entries for all employees, you can toggle that to on and see the time entries of all your employees. There's also an advanced filter in here that gives you more options for narrowing down the info on the time entry screen. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. With this button, you can create a report of what you see here on this screen. Next is the information button. If you hover over that, it will display the hotkeys you can use here on the time entry screen. For example, if you're entering time and you use the escape key on your keyboard, it will discard changes. CTR ALT M will create a new time entry, etc. You'll always have this list up here in case you forget which hotkeys perform what action. Just hover over it. Next, you have your refresh data or reload button. Then we have our items per page. So right now I can see up to 50 time entries on this page. That's helpful if you're looking at all your employees for sure. If it's just mine, I could probably keep it on something like 20 or even less and be fine. Just depends on how many I'm going to do in a day. Then I have my columns. talking about these columns here. I can remove some. You'll see if I remove start, this will disappear. And then I can add it back. And then this last button here, print data grid, that allows you to download an Excel spreadsheet of exactly what you see here on the screen. And then you can print it or work with that spreadsheet, whatever you need to with it. If you look across here, you can see this quick overview of this employee's expense units for the day, chargeable hours, non-chargeable hours, and total amount. And you can refresh those numbers by clicking this button here. On the time entry grid, you have checkboxes over here for choosing the time entries you want to work with. So for example, if you needed to perform one of these actions, you'd have to click on the checkbox first and then choose the action. You can select them all or unselect them with this button here. Next, we have our 3 dots, which brings up a drop-down menu. Like here, you can copy time with this button here. So this would copy a time entry. Maybe you're doing multiple time entries that are nearly the same, and you just need to change the client name. You could just click in here and copy this one however many times you need to, and then edit the client's name. You have the option to convert to WIP, which would change the time entry from time status to work in progress status, which means it would make it available for billing. There's multiple ways to do this. I'll show you that in a minute. You also have the options to send an email directly from here, see the client's inquiry, and open up the client's details, what we call their client properties, right here from this screen. You can do all that without ever leaving the time entry screen. Or you can delete the time entry if it's still in time status. In the journal column, you can see the status of the time entry, like if it's set to time, you'd see the T here. If it's whipped, you'd see a W, H for history. Since we're in the journal column, I told you there were multiple ways to change a time entry to WIP. So yes, you can click in the 3 dots and convert to WIP, or you can click in the checkbox, come up to actions, and choose set WIP status. Or the easiest way of all is to simply click on the T and you'll see that it changes to WIP that easily. And then it goes the same way the other way around. If I needed to change it back to the time status, because you can't edit a time entry or make any changes to it when it's been whipped, so I need to change it back to time, I have all the same options. I could click the 3 dots and choose convert to time. I could click the box, come up to actions, and choose set time status, or I can simply click on the W and it changes back to time. Next, we have the employee who did the work, the date the work was done. The start and stop time are useful if using the timer or if you want to manually enter exact time that you worked for this client. As you can see, I haven't done that. I chose to come over here and just enter 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours for these different jobs. But I could have just as easily come in here. You can see as soon as I click to edit it, it opens up because it's still in time status. And I could have said that I did this from exactly 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then saved it. It would still be the 4 hours, but now I'm accounting for the exact time that I did this W-2 preparation for CyberCore security. So that's totally up to you. It's really just about how detailed that you want to be. Then we have the client code, the sort name, the client's name. If any of these were attached to an engagement, you would see that information in here. The work code, which is important because that's how the system determines how much to charge for the amount of time you enter. Then the hours and minutes you worked, or the hours and units. You may use units if you're working on an expense, for example, miles driven to visit the client's work site, and the amount that will be charged. Also, you can see the descriptions if any were typed in. I don't have any in mind, but having one in here is definitely helpful because when you go to create an invoice, you'll get to a screen where you have to put wording on the invoice. You'll have to enter paragraphs. And if you have a description in here, you can actually choose it to have it show on the invoice. So if you know exactly what you want to say for this work done, it's just helpful to have that in there later. This is explained again in the new time video. And then you have the bank hours. Again, you'd check this box next to bank hours if your employer allows extra hours, and this time you're entering as time over your usual standard hours. Now, as you navigate through the time entry screen, like any other place in TPS, you'll see these video icons all over the place. And any screen that doesn't have one, we're probably in the process of creating one, or updating the one that was previously there. But these videos will walk you through the different steps and processes to complete nearly every task you'd need to accomplish with TPS Cloud Access. Hopefully this overview has at least helped you understand the layout of the time entry screen. For your next video to watch, you probably want to move on to how to create a new time entry, as that one's really helpful. And remember, if you have any feedback for us, whether it's something you like, something you feel needs an improvement, or you have an idea for us, hit this button here and let us know. Thank you for watching.